5, 3. Go! Good evening. It's another wonderful Thursday evening, and it's the 28th of May. So to say, it is the last Thursday of the May 2020, and after all that happened in the last month, every month of 2020 I think is quite something, quite special. So also this Thursday is special, and because the fact that this Thursday is so special, I also invited a bunch of special friends and people who do special stuff. And the idea is I make one song in the beginning to open up the night and to just get in the flow. And after the song, I would like to just introduce our guests from our this Thursday House of Hearts show, basically. And so this is this is an easy start and a good start. I'm very happy, and as we said at the sound check, it feels like a birthday party to have good people around you, and I can see them and I can feel them, and it's all virtual, so we're not in a natural space to a certain extent, but I have two biologists next to me, so I'm scientifically surrounded and wrapped, and we're within all our...
The Laden Science team.
The Laden Science team is with me, so we have a lot of a special feature. Anyway, this is a song, I'll do a Mark Geary song combined with a Giovanotti song because it rained all day. And so I thought there should be a reference to rain on today. And on the other side, I played this song in the kitchen, and Mark's song, It Beats Me, is basically always a song that I love to sing in the kitchen. And once you have scientists along, I think anyway, this is always a kitchen because they're always breeding on something and always analyzing on something, and then so it feels like being on the kitchen on the pond, basically. Yeah, but generally for the rest of the night, I try to keep myself short. This is a song, Mark Geary, Giovanotti, It Beats Me featuring Piove. Away alive and polish up your forks and knives and left the kitchen crystal clear. Did you put me in my resting place because the cup there was no time for fear? Someone calling me to see a new talk. Don't listen to me. Before you know it beats me. Yeah. Oh, hi. Senti come piove, Madonna come piove, senti come viene giù. Piove, senti come piove, Madonna come piove, senti come viene giù. Hai visto che piove, senti come viene giù. E tu che dicevi che non pioveva più, e adesso guarda mai saresti ANURADHA. Adesso guardati sei tutta bagnata. E piove, senti come piove, Madonna come piove, senti come viene giù. Piove, senti come piove, Madonna come piove, senti come viene giù. Piove, senti come piove, Madonna come piove, senti come viene giù. Piove, senti come piove, Madonna come piove, senti come viene giù, senti le gocce che battono sul tetto, senti il rumore girandoti nel letto, rinasce una stagione, nasce ora, senti che piove, il grano si matura, tu diventi grande e rifai forte. E queste foglie che ti sembrava morte, ripappollameranno un'altra volta, e la primavera che punta alla tua porta. E piove, senti come piove, Madonna come piove. Senti come piove, piove. Listen to me, so I know everyone it beats me. Did I watch you wash away your life and polish up your forks and knives and left the kitchen crystal clear? Did you put me in my resting place? Besides the cups there was no time for fear. There's someone calling me. They're seeing you talk. Don't listen to me. Hail Mary, motherless grace. I said, Hail Mary, motherless, motherless grace. Oh, motherless grace. Thank you very much, Chris CAMPREGHER on the question, or how do you? When
On the question, yeah, the question I think is the right.
is that what you say in the Bad Goisen? He's
exactly,
coming.
yeah, this is.
He's a good guy from Bad Goisen,
A bad guy, yeah.
or he's a bad boy from Good
Goisen.
Goisen. Anyway. No, Chris, great biologist, but also a performer and musician, and so this is a question basically.
Yeah, in Goisen this is a question, yeah, but this is not a question.
Okay,
Yeah.
but in Goisen they say.
In
It's
Goisen-
important what they say in Goisen.
Guys, they don't have difference between the question and whatever it's called.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, in Goisen we have no beer zelt time anymore now. It's yeah. I finished now with the beer zelt.
It's done.
It's done, yeah.
There are new things coming up in Goisen in the next year, so that's okay. That's fine. Anyway, so yeah, Chris. So what is your background? I mean, despite or besides music and all the things you're doing in your scientific everyday job, what is your themes you're working at?
So I worked previously. I worked a long time in research. I started off with some mutation research. I worked with mouse stem cells, and then I moved myself over to more clinical research at the Medical University here in Vienna. So I started a research project at the gastroenterology department, which was dealing with colitis and colitis-associated colorectal cancer. And at this time we were investigating natural compounds and synthetic compounds in order to prevent colorectal cancer in the setting of colitis, as well as inherited colorectal cancer. It was quite interesting. And it was very interesting actually to see how powerful natural compounds can be. And if we think about pharmacology, I mean, most of the pharmacological drugs we have nowadays are based on plant chemicals, on phytochemicals, as you want to say. Like one of the most known is, for example, aspirin, which has a powerful activity in preventing colorectal cancer. And after a while, research, as some of you might know, becomes a little bit difficult in terms of existence, because our systems are built on a kind of like an in and out system. So you start your career as a scientist, but in most of the cases you have to leave the space for other people, which now looking back actually is not a bad idea and not a bad thing. So I moved to pharmaceutical industry, or like most of the people did, which I started with. And currently I work in oncology. The specific field is immunotherapy, a field that's maybe known for everybody nowadays. Started about 10 years ago, where the first therapies were established, and nowadays in oncology I think immunotherapy is one of the most powerful and also something, or is one of the most powerful therapy possibilities we have, even though there is still some space left, you know, because not all cancers can be treated with immunotherapy, but most of the cancers, like melanoma, for example, is something that can be very efficiently treated with this kind of drugs. And I work there as a kind of a scientific advisor, so I give advice to doctors when they have specific requests, when they call us or we visit them or we meet them at congresses. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, and it makes a lot of fun actually, looking back to the scientific field and to be able to work in a field where science has still a big part in the job profile. I think that's for me as a scientist, it was the most important aspect. And now in the course of the pandemic, of course, like every other job or every other profession, ours was also affected in many ways. Like most of you guys had to quit your daily office job and switch to home office as long as it's possible, and not an industrial job where you have to work on material every day. And also all the clinical studies and the doctors who work in the field, they were kind of, it was difficult in this time now, in the last 2-3 months, to continue the clinical trials, which is our daily life, and the most important part in this business is the clinical study. So we had to kind of shut down some parts of it. Every pharmaceutical industry had to shut down or slow down the clinical studies because of recruitment was not possible anymore on many sites. That's my daily business. But now things are getting better, and I think Austria is one of the first countries where the big clinical studies are on the start again, and patients can be recruited again and can potentially benefit from new therapeutic possibilities that we have nowadays.
Well, anyway, thank you, Chris. It's a sign that anyway that at science, if in all those themes and questions that we have on everyday life, in specific, I think perspectives, it's and especially in phase of where we don't know where we're actually going or what happening is around, and we need some communication on science, and we need people who actually are like speaking this language. So it's actually on a new pace and value. That in the, I don't know, as you feel in recent years, it's now the focus is really asking the experts, and so they are basically also more or less very important of the everyday dialogue with the world and the themes that we're we're facing. So from the science, we come up to another, like we're making the circle back to science. But now, like I see, look, I mean, like talking of global things, I see like the face of ANURADHA. Hello, good evening, ANURADHA. You could potentially also be in India, but you're in Meidling, so based in Vienna, but you've been many places in the world and performed many places and settled in Vienna, which is good for Vienna. And so you're a musician and you're a graphic designer, and maybe you just have you just in a very, if we would meet at a cocktail party, what would you tell me if I say what happened in the last 2 months, or what are your themes that you're thinking of today? Doesn't have even to be a reflection.
If we understand each other through the masks, you mean at the cocktail party?
Yeah, you can go on, but just nevertheless talk.
Well, first, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Dominic, for asking me to come. It gave me an opportunity to dress Indian because I've been waiting to, you know, wear something Indian, and this is great. Last 2 months have been completely devastating for us. My husband and I, we both are freelancers. He is a booking agent and a tour manager for music bands and
great reggae bands.
Reggae and world music. And suddenly everything stopped. It was just a, complete full stop because the promoters or whatever tours he had lined up for the summer started getting cancelled, and nobody wants to book, and nobody even knows when the next show will be booked or anything. Even if one promoter is interested, the musician is not interested, and most of the musicians he works with are from US, and therefore it's also not just local bands, so a lot of coordination, and then there are no flights and nothing it was just a complete standstill. So basically he was just dealing with cancellation. The worst part was not that we were not earning any money, but the worst part is we don't know when we are going to earn. So that was my better half. For me personally, yes, as you know, we were doing a graphic design work which for an event which got cancelled. And as a musician, yes, again, for me, everything got cancelled. And now I'm seriously considering letting go of my Gewerbe because as a graphic designer, because it's costing me more to pay the SFOA than getting money from Heartful Funds. Mm-hmm. So it's going like that. But we are at the moment, there was every time we receive a big bill or something, we start like, oh, what are we gonna do? But it comes and goes, I would say. And at the end of the day, you think, how much can you worry?
Yeah.
You have to let go at some point. And then so we both are now trying to apply for jobs. I think the evil bit was that we both were freelancers. If one of us were at least in a standard employment, we would be covered. So now we are both looking for jobs, and let's see where that goes. Yeah.
So where are you located actually?
I'm in Meidling.
I'm Meidling.
Not
so far away.
Not far.
I thought it's US.
It's not Madras.
But I mean, looking for jobs, because you said my wife, she's also a musician, and she struggled like you. And as you said, in our case, it was not so bad because I had a fixed job, luckily. But now the new events are starting again. As of now, people can come, about 100 people now per hall or something like this. Outside, I think it's even easier or something like this. Do you have already some plans of shows or?
No, not really. Because my genre of music is not mainstream. It's a very specific part in a specific thing. But my main income is not from music. It's more from graphic design. So I do. I have a lot of Indian musicians here in Vienna, and we try to collaborate and do little productions. But again, it's not mainstream. We need to really be proactive and how do you say, promote ourselves a lot, because we have a very specific crowd coming to us. But the Indian Embassy supports us. So for example, next week I am doing a workshop or a lecture demonstration again on Zoom. As I said, this is not my mainstream, but there are little things coming up, but that's not going to cover us. So that's why I'm actively looking for design jobs.
But coming back to music,
you bring us up, and maybe we can do something, because we need a graphic designer from time to time. So
I'll connect you guys. That's great.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He's done. We hear later. He does fantastic work, and yeah. Anyway, so Anu, before we move on, you have a song for us. Basically, just when we talk of graphic design, we also think of music. Would be great to get us inspired.
I need to switch on. Are you familiar with Indian classical music?
Anything's fine, yeah?
We'll be happy to get more familiar with it.
Prabho Shayana Vibho Prabho Sama Gana Loluni Sadhu Jana Sagar Shayana Prabho Sama Gana Loluni Sadhu Jana Sagar Shayana Nagaraj Shayana Raja Shayana Bhag Bhrovu Mayana Raja Shayana Bhag Bhrovu Maya Bhagashri Bhumi Sahitu Velayushir Bhagashri Bhumi Sagar Shayana Papa Rahita Nama Ati Pavana Vidura Papa Rahita Nama Ati Pavana Vidura Papa Shamana Kara Pavana Shri Padmanabha Padmanabha Shri Padmanabha Shridhajana Poshaka Shrikara Shubhagara Varadas Nutapad Shrikara Shubhagara Varadas Nutapad Sagar Sagar Shayana Prabhu Sama Ganalo Sadhu Janavan Shayana
Thank you, Anu. Just one quick sentence about, if possible. I don't know, where does the music come from? How do you, is it classic India? And was there, and the story what you sang, is it possible to frame it up in one sentence?
Yeah. Oh, I'm trained in South Indian classical music. We have two Indian classical forms. I'm trained from the South India classical music. Almost all our songs are based on gods because we have so many. And this is based on a god called Vishnu and the state in which he lies in and his surroundings, basically. And the raga that I sing is called Bhagyashri, which is supposed to be very calm and soothing. I hope you felt that.
It was a calm and soothing song. It was very good. It was a perfect song for a Thursday evening on the edge of lockdown to freedom again. So it seems like a mix of sunrise and sunset.
Yes.
In a calming way. And anyway, so up and down. So thank you, Anu. We come back to you later. And
maybe just one question. This was not Tamil, or was it Tamil?
No, it was not. This was Sanskrit.
Okay. But you don't understand Tamil, right?
I speak Tamil, yes.
Oh, you speak Tamil?
Yes.
Oh.
You do?
Yeah. May I say something?
Yes, please.
Nano nain kadiliki rain.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
That's so sweet. How did you learn just that particular sentence?
This is a secret. It's a secret.
Can you tell that secret or not?
He said, I love you.
Well, that's what good music is about. Muy elegante. It's about the same. Thank you, Anu. And exactly, very good. It's amazing. Yeah? I mean, languages are all one, and it's great to speak languages, you know. And one thing of the oldest languages in the world is dance, and one of the best speakers of this dance, and who brought this modern language also to this country in many aspects, and is still very active on many different sides, is Liz. Good evening, Liz. It's great to have you around. Haven't seen you for a while. Have talked to you recently, so it's good to be back on air and also seeing you. And maybe just, I don't know, the question's getting more and more stupid because I repeat myself, but basically it's just too good to have an O-tone of you and things that you're in your mind and thoughts that you have. If there's, maybe we catch into some list flow, otherwise I would ask more specific question.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being here. It's very interesting. I think my first thought about the whole thing is that each of us is sitting in a private sphere. So we're all each in our own private home, in our sitting room. I don't know where you three are, but it offers something very intimate. And I actually had a radio program last week, Mahlzeit Burgenland, meaning Bon Appetit, Burgenland, for those who don't speak German who may be listening. And I found myself, it was live radio chat over 1.5 hours, but because I'm in my home environment, I have to really watch out that it becomes intimate, which is interesting. So as to lockdown, well, for dancers, this is very hard. There's a lot of classes online all over the world. So we have offers to train via internet. So, I mean, you get from the high ballet dancers at the opera houses throughout the world. They're ballet masters. If you're in the business, you can tune in and do their class. So I've no idea if there's little girls all over the world trying to do ballet class from the Paris Opera or whatever. But there they are online. The dancers are at home. So, for example, some of these classical ballet companies put together little videos, which I suppose each dancer filmed themselves, and then they put it in and it got put together. So you see them doing ballet in the kitchen, and their little children are playing around under the feet of the ballerinas. Some of the boys are all doing press-ups in the garden to keep their fitness. Yeah, that's interesting. Personally, I've been dancing to the radio every morning for 20 minutes. I put on Pasticcio, which is a music program every morning at 8 o'clock or 20 past 8 when the news is over. And I dance for 20 minutes because that's what my mum did with me back in Salisbury when I was a little girl in Wiltshire in England. And people say, I've just actually written a book. It hasn't been published. I have yet to find someone who might be interested in it. It's called Dance Lives in Everyone. And I start the book by saying, everybody knows how to dance. And my mother used to dance with me as a baby to the radio in our little cottage in Wiltshire. So I say, well, how do you remember that? And I said, well, my body remembers it. And all of our bodies remember everything in every cell. That's why it's so interesting to be sitting this evening, biologists and, the people who know the scientific and the chemistry of the body. But our body and our cells remember everything. So when I worked with dancers as a choreographer, which is what I've done for a long, long time, I call upon their body memory to bring out the stories in their bodies. Of course, I have a language, which I developed, my own mixture of dance theatre based on contemporary ballet, if you like. If we throw it in or we throw it away, whatever we feel like, Sometimes it's interesting just to have walking or bouncing. But it is about how the audience is reading the language of the body that makes it so fascinating. And the thing about dance is it's universal because everybody has a body. So everybody's a dancer because we all share one thing. Doesn't matter which kind of body we have, and we've worked, a lot of dancers now work with people who are sitting in wheelchairs or have degenerative diseases. But dancing has helped them because it goes to the brain. And in fact, the body thinks first and the brain follows. I have always thought, and I've actually learned that this is true. So the body has a lot to say. So in lockdown, I've had a lot of time to think about all this and watch it and watch people. So I have one more thing. I have a little grandson, and it's quite different. He's going to be 2. So I've been able to watch him growing from tiny baby and watch his, what's that called? Motoric, of how he develops. And I realized the body teaches itself. And as a mother, you don't have time to watch any of that because you're so busy running after the baby and caring for it. And if it's your first child, and in my case, I only had one, you're worried stiff, you're going to get it wrong or whatever. But when you're a grandmother, I could really watch it and interact. So this has been absolutely fascinating for me this time.
It seems fascinating what you say, and I totally believe, because everything I experienced from you in the last 25 years was always fascinating. From little workshops, when you remember when we had from Vyacheslav with ANURADHA and the dance, my first dance experiences are thanks to you. Plus from the Schwanensee remix experience, always going with Diane, talking or taking me along to your performances. So this language is like not able to understand the language. I feel the language. So I mean, basically what you're saying also, there is an ability in every one of us, also like memorizing, because generally I'm also bad in memorizing anything anyway. So the beauty to get knowledge, or just to give me like the positivity of when we're going to a phase like this, and it's a worldwide, it's a special phase in any way, good or bad, but it's special. So basically, I mean, it gives me also confidence to know that I don't remember whatever we might experience or have experienced or still will experience in the next month or maybe years, who knows. My body is memorizing, and the way I reflect to it is also somehow maybe that I can, if I look into me, I can find it in my bodily expression.
I would say so. We're sitting with scientists. They will know the correct answer from a scientific point of view. But we do know, for example, that people who work with people with dementia have found if we use dance for people who have lost their memories or have dementia or Alzheimer's disease, they will often remember how to play the piano or do a little dance, because that their body has remembered. So by instigating body memory, it does help to alert to just tiny little everyday things. So my message is, why don't we just keep dancing? I mean, keep ourselves active. That's the thing. Musicians are dancers. Everybody's a dancer. Everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Liz, and that's fantastic. Your wording and your language is also music, and being exactly, or just giving us dance is always also connected to music, and that in a moment you say that everybody's a dancer, I think of Schwing mit. And we're coming into the next flat, and I'm very happy that we have 2 great musicians, both of them bringing in albums to the Vienna music scene that are most exquisite and very different in their own production. And with every project that they bring out, it's fantastic what music is inside. And it's so I know Hans for also quite a few years. I remember the first time I saw Hans in when I recorded in a studio in some place, I think in Verein08, and then with Mickey, and then once we're done at late night, we wanted to drink a beer somewhere in this spot in this studios, and then we entered to a little house party, and I think that was one of the first, or maybe the first night where this band Neuschnee appeared, and to me it was one of those music moments. Like the first time 20 years ago, I met like Glenn Hansard, and I saw him perform and knew this is really, really special. And the same was like Neuschnee was also like the moment you hear this is something of a different planet coming to Earth here. And so anything like Hans to me is a fantastic composer and musician. I'm very happy that he's here. PIPPA is a great performer and song. Just got worked on another album. Was also a very praised album that they co-produced or co-worked together. And so yeah, without speaking far too long, I'm just happy to say like good evening, PIPPA. It's great that you're here.
Hi.
Hey, good evening.
And hello, Hans. And yeah, so exactly. So what was composing in these? Did you come up with new stuff? Could you use that time to phrase new inspiration or?
Yes, actually, we started to write a song called Live Stream.
No, so we also did one called No Funny Quarantine.
Yeah, that's, you know.
I heard that. That was very good. I like that.
My Funny Valentine, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this live stream song is also we enjoyed to do it because it's strange. All this shift to the live streaming was quite fast because all the musicians now needed some other place to go for. And in the end, there was really a hype, and then quite quickly it went down. In my like opinion, it down. And so that's why we wrote a song about it, because it's a strange situation also, like private, and on the other hand, it's not private, and yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the exciting point to enter in deep privacy, but then again, it's more than anything else public. I mean, if you walk the street, it's less public than if you walk the street in the net. So, and
yeah, that's true.
So there is is it possible to hear something out of that phase basically, or
Yeah,
did you?
so because we had some live streaming concerts, and we
built up a special setup for this live streaming gigs, and yeah, so it's a Neuschnee song, but I will.
yeah we will, yeah, because normally this band Neuschnee is with a string quartet, but it couldn't
It's not
be
so
here.
easy to have them here.
Yeah, and it wasn't, so I just tried to find ways, and so it sounds different, but yeah, maybe you like it.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
It's called Blatt im Wind.
It's called Blatt im Wind. Now the reverb song. Scheiße. Das ist auch das Private, wenn man gleich den Text vergisst am Anfang. Weißt du die erste Textzeile?
Schieße mit Amors Pfeil.
Ja, genau. Entschuldigung. Ich schieße mit Amors Pfeil, doch treffe leider nur dein Hinterteil. Besser als daneben, aber meine Beine schlottern. Mist, jetzt fang ich auch noch an zu stottern. Schau nicht so, als ob dich das mit uns nicht interessiert. Ich lauf in Rotation, denn ich bin gut produziert. Mag sein, doch du bist leider nicht mein Archetyp. Doch sei dir sicher, dass es von mir noch sehr viele gibt. Und übrigens, hier ist die Nummer von meinem Vater. Meld dich mal bei ihm, er ist ein guter
Psychiater.
Ich renne, doch ich komm nicht an. Gut, dass ich schwimmen kann.
Durch
Diesen Warteraum. Plan B ist Plan A, denn er war schon immer da. Wie ein wiederkehrender Traum. Kurze Weile, langer Weg, bestimmt, was auch immer es doch ist. Mein Kind, Falten, Sorgen, Falten, klein gewinnt, denn wir fallen wie ein Blatt im Wind. Ich roll bergauf und bergab, und wenn ich zwischendurch dazu fast keine Kraft mehr hab, dann schreibe ich mir selbst eine Postkarte auf, da steht: Vergesse niemals, Heimat ist dort, wo man dich versteht. Er sagt zu mir, du arbeitest hart, doch fährst keine Renditen. Mach's doch wie ich und nehme einarmige Banditen. Das ist legal und wie Robin Hood in umgekehrt. Nimm von den Armen, gib den Reichen, das hat sich bewährt. Manchmal ist das Leben wie das des Huhns im Hühnerparadies. Ein verheißungsvoller Name, doch dort dreht man dich am Spieß. Ich renne, doch ich komm nicht an. Gut, dass ich schwimmen kann. Durch diesen Warteraum. Plan B ist Plan A, denn er war schon immer da. Wie ein wiederkehrender Traum. Kurze Weile, langer Weg, bestimmt, was auch immer es doch ist. Mein Kind, Falten, Sorgen, Falten, klein gewinnt, denn wir fallen wie ein Blatt im Wind. Kurze Weile, lange Weg, bestimmt, was auch immer es doch ist. Mein Kind, Falten, Sorgen, Falten, klein gewinnt, denn wir fallen wie ein Blatt im Wind.
Das war's.
Dankeschön.
Danke.
Fantastisch.
Alkohol tut bei mir leider schon so ein bisschen so Textschwächen fabrizieren.
Ah, das ist
Eine Schwäche leider.
Das ist die Basis all meines.
Weil, wie ich dazu getanzt hast. Halt.
Ja, eben. It's getting so much in the groove that is it possible to have an encore from you, or is it too much to ask?
Yeah, if we have time, I don't know. We can.
For one encore, there's always time. You know, it's the uncle of encore.
Yeah.
The anchor of
We
encore.
play a song from PIPPA's album. Yeah.
Sorry?
My album is called Idiotenparadies and it will be released on the 28th of August. It's special premiere.
Chick, chick.
And the song is called Murakami schläft nie. If you know Haruki Murakami. Yeah. My favorite.
Of course we do. Of course we do.
Yeah, I know him. My favorite too.
Yeah?
Great.
Ah, I feel you, sister.
Me too, me too.
So you all like cats, do you?
I love Aufziehvogel.
Eins, zwei, drei, vier.
Zwischen zwei Welten lachen sie, kleine Leute gesehen. In der Stadt der Katzen war ich nie, nur die Träumenden verstehen. Dunkle Ecken und einsame Trinker, verloren gegangen in der Nacht. Stumme Stirneschläger sind auch da, ein tiefer Brunnen, ein Vogel, der lacht. Alles geht, alles geht, und irgendwo wecken da, uferlos, Murakami schläft nie. Stummes Rauschen, stumme Laute. Er kalkuliert so lang er kann und liebt rosarote Bräute. Oben immer noch 2 Monde, schmeißt den Tiger in den Tank. Ein Semi-Juck dreht seine Runde, getrennter Schatten, alt und krank. Alles geht, von irgendwo weg und da, uferlos, Murakami schläft nie. Alles geht, von irgendwo weg und da, uferlos, Murakami schläft nie. Alles geht, von irgendwo weg und da, uferlos, Murakami schläft nie. Alles geht, von irgendwo weg und da, uferlos, Murakami schläft nie.
Great song, great song. I'm looking forward to that album.
Also genialer Song, ja, oder geniale Songs, die wir da jetzt gehört haben. Was mich immer wundert ist, bei euch Musikern, du sagst am 28. ist Release. Wie schafft ihr das, dass ihr immer on time seid? Das ist ja Projektmanagement, ja. Ah, sorry. It should be in English. Sorry.
Okay.
So it should be always in time. So you have a strict project management behind this. If you say the release date is the 28th of August, but what happens if you can't manage?
Es ist wichtig, dass es in Englisch ist, oder? Weil ich kann auch nicht
No. Sag's auch, you can say in German and then exactly.
dann übersetzen einfach?
Yeah.
Also, wenn die
Subtitles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael,
Hall.
In dem Fall war es jetzt so, dass das Album eigentlich schon jetzt morgen rauskommen hätte sollen.
Wow.
Aber wir haben dann so an dem ersten Tag vom Lockdown also ich habe ein Team, ja, ein Label und ein Management auch, die mir helfen sehr viel. Und wir haben dann gemeinsam beschlossen, das zu verschieben, weil es einfach nicht klar ist, wie das dann überhaupt mit der medialen Aufmerksamkeit auch ist, auf die man natürlich irgendwie hofft. Genau, aber das Album war schon länger fertig, also das war irgendwie schon der Termin überhaupt, ein Album rauszubringen, den setzt ja dann, wenn man schon absehen kann, dass es irgendwie fertig ist, also man würde es jetzt nicht einen Termin suchen, wenn das Album gerade im Entstehen ist. Also das ganze Paket war schon lange fertig und dann sucht man sich halt so einen Zeitpunkt aus, der gut passt und da gibt es halt so einfach Zeitpunkte, die mehr Sinn machen und dann halt schwierigere, wie halt im Frühjahr, so wo viele Bands Alben rausbringen und wo man halt leicht runtergeht. Und dann sucht man sich halt immer so seinen Slot. Halt
Okay, but why is it then exactly the 28th of August? Is this a special day?
Es ist prinzipiell immer so, ein Freitag ist immer so der klassische Release-Tag. Und ich glaube, dass es ja relativ unüblich ist, mitten im Sommer was rauszubringen, wobei sich das jetzt durch Corona auch alles verschiebt. Und ich glaube, es war einfach so die Überlegung, es ist noch Sommer, aber es gilt schon fast als Herbst so. Also es ist ein Freitag, der ist zwar noch im Sommer, aber ist schon wieder fast Herbst.
Oh, okay.
Es ist genau ein Tag von meinem Geburtstag. Also es wird das eigentlich ein Geburtstagsgeschenk für mich.
29th of okay. So basically, there are a few interesting dates. The tomorrow would be the official launch of your album, and as you said, the album is also like a bit has been finished and produced already. So it's like a good bottle of wine that needs to ripe, or some fruit or whatever. But on the first day of lockdown, you knew that this is unpredictable. Where we're gonna be like today, and I think it was a good decision. And so now the idea is to have it on the 28th of like a day before your birthday in August, which is the 28th of August, and which is exactly 3 months. June, July, exactly today in 3 months, life will look different. And these guys will be allowed to be a bit closer. We can, or even if not, who knows? We might have the same distance, but we can expect something live, I guess, somewhere then. Or will it be?
I hope so, ja.
Yeah, maybe the clubs are open by then again.
Es ist eine Release-Show natürlich geplant für 3. September im B72 und es ist jetzt sehr, sehr... Ich habe heute die Mail gekriegt, dass wir uns was anderes suchen sollen, weil das sehr schlecht ausschaut für das B72,
Wow.
dass diese Krise überhaupt überlebt.
Yeah,
Es ist überhaupt so, dass es eher so bestuhlte Konzerte werden möglich sein. Und ja, da muss man halt schauen, welche Lokale, wo sich das rentiert, auch nur bis zu maximal 100 Leuten irgendwie Eintritt zu verlangen. Ne?
Listening has an idea. Yeah, B72 has always had ups and downs recently, the poor ones. So I mean, these are one of the whom let's see, let's hope for the best. But I mean, there are a couple of places that I heard who are really fighting and might not even make it until fall or until the end of the year. Let's hope for the best. I think it's unfair, but I mean that's we're in the middle of everything. So anyway, so this great the Murakami is a very great inspiring song. I remember that Murakami, I read an article I think in New York Times once a couple of years ago that he
ist, aber er hat auf
Haruki.
jeden Fall einen, weil ich finde, das sind unglaublich fantastische Welten, wo ich immer wieder mir denke, wie kommt man auf sowas? Also entweder man konsumiert echt viele harte Drogen oder man ist einfach so, ja, dass man sagt, man geht jeden Tag schwimmen. Das ist ja dann auch schon fast wie so ein Zwang, oder? Also keine Ahnung. Aber ich finde den echt toll. Sehr unterschiedlich auch.
Yeah, I think it's and if you say it would be a German word or an Austrian word, then you would say Haruki would be slightly off the edge. And I think the beauty of the imagery is also slightly off the edge. And then very Haruki. No, but it's great. I love the books, and it's great to know that.
I have a question for Pippa. You are from Germany, right?
From Austria.
You're from Austria.
From Vienna.
Your German is so Hochdeutsch. You're speaking so clearly.
Oh, thank you.
So,
I don't know if it's thank you, but yeah, my parents are actors, and I'm actually also an actress. It's my first profession,
right.
and then I started to make music a few years ago. So maybe it's the theater language that makes it a bit more Hochdeutsch.
yeah. Okay. Cool.
Like the stage German, you say, huh?
Yes, and he's from Berlin, and we live together, and it, it has färbt ab. Yes, färbt ab.
It's inspiring, basically. We can say, or I mean, like
Wears off.
yeah, it wears off. Like
Both
Stefan.
directions, so because Hans also is
Hans?
Wiener already.
Hans, I didn't know you're from Berlin.
Excuse me?
I didn't know that you're from Berlin. Which?
No. Actually, I am. I the first 21 years I lived in Berlin.
Ah, so which Kiez did you live in, or which Kiezes did you live in?
Tempelhof.
Tempelhof, okay. I was living in Neukölln for 2 years.
Okay.
We lived in Plenterwald for a while.
Plenterwald.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I stayed in
Berlin gang.
Liz?
I spent 2 months in Wedding doing
Oh, the wedding is the best district, I think.
No.
Well, yeah.
So,
I had a
maybe
concert. I had a gig.
everyone on this planet has to be in Berlin once.
even Haruki Murakami. He's in Berlin. Definitely.
Yeah.
He loves jazz clubs too. He owns a jazz club, I think.
Okay.
In one of his books, he describes that. Sorry to interrupt. We were on about Berlin.
No, but that's a great feature. And yeah, I had a gig in Prenzlauer Berg half a year ago. So I mean, we all have our Berlin connection, and then there's also a Heidelberg connection because Stefan, you had some time there, and Liz, you too, I think.
Yes, I met Stefan before we went on air officially, and we found out that we were both in Heidelberg at the same time. I was running the Tanztheater company in the Stadttheater Heidelberg for 7 years, and I believe that Stefan was at the university in Heidelberg finishing his doctor or something very important, and I think it would be great to hear from Stefan, wouldn't it? I'm interviewing him. Is that okay?
Exactly. So actually, I left Heidelberg to do my PhD. So I was actually, I was really happy to get out of Heidelberg. Not because of the Tanztheater, but I grew up there and I felt it a bit stifling. And I went to Cambridge, which I felt was stifling in different ways, but scientifically, being in Cambridge was, at that time in the early 90s. As they say in England, flabbergasting. It was really amazing. It was a wonderful time. I met some amazing scientists and had, some wonderful parties as well. And it opened my eyes for science. And I think one of the most, of this horrible disease which we are facing, which we have been sort of trying to push back with our lockdowns. Is that actually the same feeling I had when I started to study biology has probably sort of gripped many people from the public. They have all of a sudden now realized how exciting science is because, in German TV for 3 months now, I think after every news show, they have 15 minutes of Corona news. There is a podcast by a virologist in Germany who gets 100,000 of views, and the German Bild Zeitung is picking fights with him. Science is all of a sudden everywhere. It's a bit like like the frontline workers in the shops who get a lot of attention now that they are sort of keeping the system up and running. I think also science is now there, and one of the things when you do understand a little bit about science, what I realized as soon as we all saw that this disease and this virus is a big, big threat to many things, the economy, our health, our way of life, that actually also the scientists got on the case, and the amount of data which is produced is so enormous. That we are talking about that a vaccine might be possible within 12 or 18 or 24 months, which will be the fastest vaccine ever. There are many things which are exciting about science, and I think it's great that so many people are interested in it. And one of the things what I do, besides, I'm a sort of a scientific ghostwriter. I write scientific grants for researchers or with researchers so they can get some money, millions usually, because research is quite expensive, because that is quite well paid. I also have a hobby in my company, which is producing images and also videos. And maybe Michael can put our SARS-CoV-2 structure video on for all of you out there in the world. But you can also obviously watch it on YouTube, which we have 10,000 followers on our YouTube channel, thanks to the SARS pandemic or the COVID pandemic. I've been one of the benefactors of this horrible
science,
disease.
Yes,
and science certainly also got a little bit of the veil pulled away. Are you ready, Michael? Runs. Thank you.
Super great. Actually, it would be great if this has more. It's just good to go.
So I think, can you hear us now? By now.
Your sound has gone. What's happened?
Not ours.
I cannot hear Stefan.
I think just now a video is running for the others, so
I see.
I think
Sorry.
3 or 4 minutes. I just heard them during the sound check, so
People who are watching from
I don't know if they hear us now, but
are in a they can go to their kitchen and get a glass of wine or
Yeah.
a cup of tea.
you're also good.
So in other words, I'm the lady, I'm the usherette in the cinema.
This is a really strange situation because whoever is watching obviously saw this video now, but all we here we haven't. So I hope you have a chance to check out those videos and subscribe obviously to the channel. But thanks for taking the time to watch it, and if you like it, maybe you can comment on it on the live stream, and I will check it later. So these videos is one of the things which actually go back a long time in my life, because when I was at school, I actually had this dream of that I would want to become would make cartoons, like little animated movies, and that's sort of a very strange coincidence that now 30 years later I'm actually having a media designer in the company who actually does what I tell him to do. And so it's it's actually a great hobby I can fund from my income.
I think it's not only a great hobby, or just to just visually express is one of the most simple forms, or the direct form, to make us all understand like the moves or what we're. When we're talking back what Liz said, we feel things in our body on the forms of art, and from the sides of science. I think it's also exciting just to see you guys. You can imagine where those for me it's just wordings, if I think of COVID, I think of Ovid. For me it's always like Ovid's metamorphosis or thing, that the world is changing, and I think of Christoph Ransmayr or Ovid, and these are my references. You guys, you can think of really the little details wherever they are
But
like.
I think that's the point, Dominic. I think that's what music and also dance is so great about, that it's about emotion, and it's about, you know, making people understand, and not sort of understand in the way of knowing, but understand in the way of meaning. And I think that's what those videos should convey, that the facts which we are sort of wrapping up into them, they should be not dry, but they need to be somehow interesting, and they need to be conveyed in a way that they will be understood. And I think, you know, I mean, art is something, one of the things which can actually touch us in different ways than just not, you know, in very different ways than knowledge usually does touch us. And I think scientists are this rare breed where pure knowledge is something which, you know, we are trained in a way that pure knowledge is something exciting to us and touches us and is emotional to us. And, you know, we are just rare, you know, most other people are different. So it's just a way of trying to show this excitement, you know, Chris and me and many other scientists have for facts, and show it in a different way. And I hope, obviously, a way which is, you know, serving a purpose.
I guess, I think we're talking
one of the most important things is that actually Chris is helping us a lot in those videos with actually the sound, and I think that's one of those undervalued things what I initially, because I'm not a musician and I don't really, I don't have the ear for music so much, but I think when I now listen to the videos with a proper sound done by Chris, it's just, you know, because the imagery is so professional, and I'm really proud actually about those imagery, which I'm not producing. I'm just sort of, you know, telling somebody to do something professional, and then having this done with those great, with this proper sound is just a parcel which I'm really happy about this product, and you know that we have so many views. Obviously, also makes me proud, but for me, actually, the way it is already sufficient. Whether I have 10 views or 150, yeah, who cares?
It's exactly.
It's
the most important thing is that we have. I mean, getting in a phase where everything in science and when we're talking about facts is like something that we need to orient to. And at the same time, I hope that and I'm very happy that science is so much in the focus, because that's also a very important kind of in times that we all have been going to in the recent years, you know, where there's so many uncertainties, where it's actually on purpose that you bring uncertainties in society, you know, because you can more easily rule. And at the same time, that the importance of facts is and you listen to scientists, and this is, I think, a very important procedure. And the same when you said facts, and then on the other side is feelings, which is all us. I think that we work on dance, on music, on visuals, and I would love to see that we're coming to the same balance. That the arts and the science is kind of meeting in some way. So the arts are really deep down now in when normally you always say, like, if there are bad times in society, you always come back to the arts, and the arts are saviors, and they are still the saviors. It's just that the performance of art is not so easy to be seen in these days, and it's a very funky and weird situation that the art is kind of in a shadow or in a silhouette, and it's not really directly touchable. But nevertheless, I think if we come to a situation in society where we can elevate the sources of facts and then the sources of feelings, that would be my dream society in a way, you know, like, and we have both.
What I feel is, let's say we go back to normal times, I think everybody would try to reinvent. People actually adapt very fast, in my opinion. We have evolution to prove that. But what I mean is, whatever we have thought of as how we express ourselves, I think we will find new ways and new ways to reinvent that stage. And be it just, you know, dancing at home, or singing at home or having a Zoom conference. Maybe these are the first few steps that we have still not stopped expressing in these 2 months. We've just found different venues to express. And even if we go back to normal life, I would say that this is a big, art will remember this. And then there will always be a situation that the second time it happens, or it won't be a new thing, and now we will be much more adapted, and maybe there will be another new thing. Because 2 months ago, if somebody said come on Zoom, I would think of Museums Quartier Zoom or Ocean or something for the kids. This was never my idea of Zoom. Therefore, and now every single person in the world, knows what Zoom is, and now we've the fact that we are doing this tonight itself means that we have reinvented. I've been always trying to come to Laden every Thursday, but with 2 little kids, it's like, okay, I will, maybe one day. And now it was possible because it was online and the kids are sleeping, and yes. So I think art will always reinvent itself and people will adapt it, but there is of course a time period until when we find a suitable direction, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is also like giving us maybe a memory in many ways of experiences. Anything in the mix of privacy and public is quite interesting, that we're just going through things now. I don't really reflect too much, or just in a loop, I just go with the flow basically. And then at some point I will be able to evaluate what the experiences, what new chances there are, what new perspectives and new understandings and new compromises, basically in a society. And yeah, so this is, but always being inspired to find out new expressions and new forms. And then I think this is for me also inspiring to enter into Liz's apartment, into your apartment, to hear the great sound also like of Pippa and Hans. So this is something also special, and who knows, maybe like Zoom is not yet on a stage where we think in the 21st century we could be, but it's the best we found so far. And because if we start to really perform together, there's still latency, and so it's not yet everything in a full set, but we're still evolving and we're still experiencing. But nevertheless, I think the experience of sound, music, of dance, and Haruki Murakami, those will still be sources that will be always part of our society, I hope so.
But Dominic, what I also like when all the things started, as a musician, I really like also had the moment where I thought, okay, or maybe it's like, or I noticed maybe with everybody, like all people and all the professions in the society, they have a role and they are needed somehow. And sometimes some people are needed more, and I just really thought, okay, I cannot play now, but it has to be, and it's okay. It's definitely so. Like for me, I don't know the English word. Is it Demut?
Benign or not?
I don't know. But I just noticed for myself that it's not really, because now it's the moment where everybody says, okay, the art, and what about? And I think it's right, because it's like it's about like getting earnings and get a living from that. But I also realized that it's, for me, it's like I don't want to think this is so much important what I do just because I do it. Just like, I don't know, like get a feeling for what's happening around you and everything, and then bake a big cake out of it.
I think I understand what you're saying. If I'm going back to what we were talking, I said about the intimacy. It puts everybody on the same level, because you view bodies, you see nurses going in to take care of dying people. You see people going to the morgue on television every night. everybody, and you get the politicians, and particularly in my country, I feel, stumbling on their own humanness. I mean, let's be honest, the professionalism in a strange way falls to the side because they're so overwhelmed by what's happening that they actually, whatever you may say about them, appear to be human. And it demasks people. So you've got all of society suddenly all thrown into the same boat. And it is things like Zoom and all the time on the television. And we are all observing in every corner of the world, in every society, in every class system, our basic human, necessities. And that's probably why science can come in again in such a valuable way, because it has the analysis, but it is the understanding of the human chemistry, by what we are as human beings in our bodies. I mean, we have to live. So we've got basic stuff. We've got the food. We haven't got the pickers out there, because in my country they have to get the pickers from Romania because the British have forgotten how to pick fruit. The society is actually taken away totally manual jobs, and it is ridiculous. So all the things that we really need, like food, each other, social, and at the end of the day, the music and the dance and the touch, no touch. These are the things, and this, the so-called Wirtschaft, which is the English word. What's the English word for Wirtschaft? Economy. Thank you. The economy suddenly gets a totally different role. It appears to be a monstrous sort of huge thing, abstract. What is the economy? At the end of the day, it's all about living, our food, our stuff. So what is the economy? And I think economists are asking very big questions. I've heard. I mean, I'm just a dancer. As my father used to...
Liz, can I interject for a moment? Because I just want to put you up on this one thing, because one of the big thoughts which I feel was when, all of us who have children, and who are concerned about environment and about, the breakdown of the climate and all those sort of things, if we would have had politicians 2 years ago talking to us with the same grave voices, oh, this is really necessary now, we have to, stop flying for any sort of whatever. If they would have talked to us that we needed to do, have a bit of a sacrifice, everybody needs to cut down a little bit here and there, we would be in a different position with the environment. And I think I don't know why this imminent life threat is obviously so much more powerful to make us act than sort of removed of 5 or 10 years or whatever, how long the climate crisis will start to cost us seriously many lives. And I think that's one of those things which is so interesting, that that all of a sudden the economy was not as important anymore as they made us think for more than 100 years. More science knows about climate breakdown due to CO2, for more than 150 years. Okay, and politicians have been lying to us for that long that they say, don't worry about it, it won't, not in your lifetime, right? And I think the COVID-19 has shown us that, so much is possible actually. If we pull together, if we take it seriously, we don't actually care so much about a next TV or a mobile phone or whatever. We can actually restrict ourselves to the bare necessities. And I think the bare necessities are also, we all learned this in the lockdown, it is actually music, it is connected to our friends. And I think, one of the most important things what I felt is like, hey, okay, they can opening up those big OB markets, but they can't open up a museum. What shithole is this, right? I mean, who is taking these decisions? So, I think we all in those past 3 months had a lot of time to think about what is so important in our lives. And I think we all learned new things about, this calibration in our societies.
Also, in the terms of what you said about, when there was the lockdown and there were only bare necessities that you could go and purchase, and then you needed something, you could make do and you could repair something on your own and find an alternative rather than running to the shop and buying the next new thing. And this was fantastic experience because you don't need it. You don't know when you will get it, so you make do and you find new ways to repair it or find another way to get things going. And that was fantastic because this there's a lot of consumerism. You get checked how much you consume when the before and after the lockdown, and now when the shops open you're like, no, actually I don't really need.
This is exactly the devil's vicious circle, you call it. That I also felt like I've never spent so little money like in the last 3 months, and I think everybody spent the least that has ever happened in lifetime. But if we continue...
But you had a salary.
Yeah, no, not independent of the salary,
No, but I mean, many people couldn't spend so much.
They couldn't spend anything because of the restrictions, but even people with a normal income, they couldn't spend anything because nothing was open. And if and I know a lot of people think now that can continue like my whole life now, and a lot of people think they can save a lot now, but the vicious circle is that it will just kill economy, because there be so many people, we depend on this economically, on this business. If you stop buying things, then millions of people will have no job anymore.
Yeah, but they'll look for new creative ways.
Nobody
wants to play. But
I hope they look for being ecological by how you call it, farming, like organic farming.
But Chris, for example, the most important thing is, with farming, and also I think it's a different story because we still are a lot of people on this planet who need to be fed, but and we can't eat all meat and all those sort of things. But what I want to say to consumerism and it keeping the economy alive, it actually fills the coffers of a very, very small number of companies on this planet who don't pay taxes.
Yeah, that's the question.
No, that's not the question.
Well, let's
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, yes, well, I just wanted to say how ridiculous our economy, so-called, has become. I read that bees, and as we all know, bees, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Very well.
We're listening.
We all know if they don't pollinate, we will have no food. And I was reading that in the USA, they have to import tons and tons of bees every year from China in aeroplanes just to come and pollinate apple trees. I don't know, the wheat.
Almond trees is one of the worst things you can think because they are sprayed so badly.
Yes.
When you pollinate almonds with those commercial bees, they die. I think 2/3 of them die because of the pesticides.
It's the almonds. And how ridiculous that you actually fly bees, which anyway are flying bees, thousands, and then they get flown back again to make honey. And China, it's all gone crazy. And going back with economy has to be, and there are people, as you know, scientists, but there's very clever people sitting in universities working out new forms of economy, because the old one just isn't working. As you said, Stefan, it's filling the coffers of a handful of very greedy people who cannot think beyond the end of their nose.
Look for the bare necessities, the root of all necessities. Forget about the almond trees of it. And if you bare necessities and Mother Nature's recipes, it's always like it is, or what is theirs. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's the answer of music, and it's true. Anu, could we have a one more song on within, and then could you sing us one more like song? If we're rounding up things now, it would be great to hear some music
About Mother God.
of Mother God and the themes that Liz said and that you mentioned and also exactly it's a mixture of because in the end it's it's a big mashup that and whether we call it economy or ecology or something it's human beings on this planet, and I like to reduce the idea of human beings to 100, and that's the way I explain for myself in a very naive way society. I always figure out people invented fire and then there's 100 people on the planet. What did they do, you know? And there's always, it ends up in music and song and dance, and I think it's important. Eating. And obviously eating. Somebody's taking care of the on the fire, you know, preparing, and the rest. In the end, they're all dancing. Everybody's preparing, and then they're dancing.
In the end, I think that.
Thank you, Liz.
in the end, I think that ecology will just rule over economy. When I started biology in the mid-90s. We still had a class of ecology, and I think 5 years later or something like this, when I started, ecology was not a topic anymore, so it didn't even exist anymore in this university. But I think it will come back, and it will be bigger than ever before. And I personally, I try to convince my little daughter that she should go in direction of something with ecology, whatever it will be. But I think ecology will be the future field of humanity.
I agree, if I may say so. Thank you.
That's a good. I hope so.
Lady Liz approves.
If Lady Liz approves, I can only sign up to Lady Liz. That's good.
I'm allowed to say that. Let's hear yours. What do you want to sing us? But that was beautiful. I mean, I can't help it. I am the oldest of us all here on this screen. And yes, ecology must come back in again, or else it makes sense, doesn't it? That the economy is a fantasy.
I was actually shocked.
I read a line in Facebook, something similar to, it's amazing that our economy is made up of all non-essential things.
Beautiful, that's right.
Yeah. Before I start another piece, I wanted to say I misspoke before when you asked which language it was. It is Telugu, not Sanskrit, because of course you know the difference. So I just wanted to say that the previous song was Telugu and not Sanskrit. This one doesn't have any words. I'm just going to sing like the solfege in Carnatic music. So instead of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. So we have sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. So this particular raga is called Verein08, and it's sort of an exercise with rhythms. Pa ma pa ga ma pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni pa sa ni pa ni pa pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ga ma pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni pa sa ni pa ni pa pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni pa pa ma pa ma ga ma ga sa pa sa ni pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ga ma pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni pa sa ni pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni pa ma ga ma ga sa pa ma ga sa ni pa ma ga sa ni pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ga ma pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni pa sa ni pa ma ga sa ga ma ni sa ni sa ni pa pa ni pa sa ni pa ma ni pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ga ma pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni pa sa ni pa pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ma pa ma ga ga sa ma ga pa ma ni pa sa ni pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ga ma pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni pa sa ni pa pa ma ga sa ga ma sa ni pa pa ma ga sa ni pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni sa ni pa ma pa ma ga sa ma ga ma pa ni pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ni pa ma pa ma pa ma ga ga ma ga ga sa ni sa gaza gama pa ni pa sa ni sa ni sa ni sa ni pa ni sa ma pa ma ga sa ni sa gama pa ma ga sa gama pa ni pa ma ga sa gama pa ma pa. That's it.
Wow, super.
Great vibe, great drive. No, this is something. Yeah.
Really cool.
Thank you.
What is the cat? What's the name of the cat? I love cat in shows.
Toto.
Toto Cotugno.
Jojo.
Toto.
Jojo.
More like Toto Lotto.
It's our Corona cat. We have him since 1 month or something. Yeah.
How come?
Wir waren so einsam. Wir haben jemanden zum Kuscheln gebraucht. Und er kuschelt sehr gerne.
The Kuschel cat.
Ja, Kuschelcat.
Nice. And is there a Kuschel song still? If would you be still able to have one more song for us? And,
Du hast sicher einen Kuschelsong für uns.
ich kann auch einen Kuschelsong für euch spielen, wenn ihr wollt.
Unbedingt.
Und dann.
Und wir kuscheln.
Okay, das ist schön. Mit
Toto.
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 Jojo.
Ja.
Like Jojo was a man who thought he was a loner.
Genau. Oder hey
Well, he was in
Jojo.
there.
Hey Jojo.
Hey Jojo. Hey Jojo. Hey Jojo. Yeah, there's a song that we talked about before about ecology and economy. It's a song that is called 2028, and I've written this song in the year 2008. And this is it starts with a newsline written by Duncan Larkin, who unfortunately died in the year 2008. So, but I mean, out of his views, he was writing a newsline, and he was a news speaker. He was from Blue Danube Radio and FM4 morning show, and so he was my neighbor, and there was a great the few months I had with him as a neighbor. It was really inspiring, funny, and great. And so I just asked him when I had with two friends we were producing this album of all the years that ended with an 8 ever since 1848 up to 2028. So it was a funny production, and so I'm very grateful and thankful for him to have brought me this newsline, and then it goes on into song basically, and so I tried to cover this, and
We are on 28, 2020.
so in this song exactly. So in this song it's the year 28, and we have an old radio going on, and Duncan Larkin.
The price of oil tumbled on markets again today as 4 more hydrogen power generators came online in Austria. Following the total ban of fossil-fueled vehicles, vintage car owners demonstrated around the ring. Shell, Texaco, BP, the OMV, and 4 other major American oil companies have declared bankruptcy within the past 5 months. The leader of Palestine Israel, Moshe Abdullah Weinberg, says he remains positive after long talks between the warring factions of the Obamites and the Ku Kluxers at Camp David today. The race-driven war in America is in its 7th year. Kaiser and Kaiserin Karl and Francesca Thyssen von Habsburg are to officially open the underwater colony of Atlantis II off Madeira later today. Delegates from the 100,000-strong colonist will present the royal couple with garden produce from the 650-metre-deep aquascape. NASA has unveiled its latest transponder at Cape Canaveral. Capable of beaming 2,000 explorers to the edge of our galaxy and beyond, its name celebrates the very first cooperation between man and visiting ETIs, Roswell 4. Finally, the Rolling Stones had to postpone their 65th anniversary world tour as Keith Richards underwent a total organ and brain transplant. The procedure, normally a 2-hour affair, is said to have been particularly tricky for the proto-rocker, who is comfortable but tired. And in sport, Austrian Ski Federation President Andy Goldberger is accusing France of spraying slopes with Go Faster snow for its athletes. France has denied the charges and demands that all future events take place in the last natural snowfields of Siberia. Goldberger insists there are not enough mountains there.
Thank you, Duncan Larkin. Werden die Städte, ja, sie wollen, wie sie liegen, wenn sie biegen, alles im Fluss, gleich dem blauen, grauen Wiegen. Und die Nacht ein heller Haufen an Geschichten und Geriffen. Was fehlt noch, um zu verstehen, was es ist und was es wird? Stadt der Träume und Stadt der Dome und der Ecke, Land der virtuellen Bäcker, gibt der Zeit doch ihre Kraft und ihren Zug. Ich lande trocken und geschont am anderen Ende meiner Wiege. Zäune Grenzen, nichts als mentale Gartenpflege. Und der Stoff all dieser Schichten und Geschichten umfährt mit leisen Sohlen Dagewesene der Metropole. Alles suchen, alles senden, wir drehen und wenden, suchen und senden. Alles suchen, yeah, alles senden, yeah, wir drehen und wenden, suchen und senden, yo. Und wenn am Schluss das beste Wesen aus dem Saft der Elemente kann nur siegen, überleben, das Resistente, alles suchen, alles senden, wir drehen und wenden, suchen und senden, suchen und senden, yeah. Chris Camppreger on the Bad Geusener Quetschen. On the Hone. Thank you. Thank you, PIPPA, thank you, Hans.
Wir haben uns auf Stumm geschalten und mitgesungen.
Ja, ich habe Jojo gehört auch. Es war sozusagen ein Future Kuschelsong, so to say.
Ja, cool.
Wir sind nur noch 8 Jahre von 2028 entfernt und in 2008 it seemed, when the song was written, it seemed very far away, but it's so funny how 20 years at some point in your life is 20 years. It's like going to the shop buying some milk.
Yeah. And what do you do when it's 2028 then?
The pandemic will be gone. Parties will be there again.
Yeah.
Clubs will be open again.
Clubs will be open. Science will be far away. Ecology will be
stitched to our
exactly.
Yes.
And arts will be all over the streets, and science too, and ecology too.
Yeah.
This is the flow.
But the English word for stretcher, it's a squeeze box. So a squeeze box is the name.
Squeeze box, great.
So when in the future, in 2028, we're doing what you've just said, if you have a squelcher, you've got a squeeze box.
I think this should be the squeeze box should be a new platform, basically, where we bundle scientific research, songs, dance performances, everything is on the. Available. Everything is on the squeeze box.
Everyone has its own squeeze box then.
Yeah. And Hans and Pippa, do you have one more squeeze box song, or are you done? I mean, that's also fine. It depends on if you're really kuscheling with your cat. I can completely understand.
No, das
Yeah, I
sollte
mean,
kein Hindernis sein. Wir hätten noch Songs. Also
but do you want a slow one or fast one?
It depends on maybe a mix. If you have two songs to finish up, or one that you choose. Anyway, it's really. What would you do if we won't be there and you just had you would like to play one song?
Then we play a song called Egal. It's also from PIPPA. And it's a song, it's called Egal, but its meaning it's not egal at all. So
Jojo, ich muss
if you think you're ready, if it's okay for Jojo, dann... Aber du musst ja gar nicht spielen, oder? Du kannst...
Jojo.
Ja.
Später kuscheln wir wieder.
Immer diese
Egal, ist
Versprechen.
ein Song auch von meinem Album, eine Single, die ist auch schon draußen und da gibt es auch ein Video und so dazu. Also mache ich jetzt auch mal Werbung für meinen YouTube-Kanal.
Das stimmt, das muss man machen.
Genau, das ist ein Song, der auch eigentlich eine Rapperin featured. Die heißt Nora Su. Aber ja, ich werde jetzt ihren Part übernehmen, so gut es geht.
Und bisher war alles live gespielt und jetzt kommt auch ein bisschen was aus der Dose. Mal sehen.
Squeezebox.
Aus der Dose, aus der Squeezebox. Get some music from the Squeezebox in the computer. Warte mal, na. Jetzt habe ich so.
Wer du bist, was du denkst, wo du stehst, es ist alles egal, alles egal. Was du isst, was du schenkst, wann du gehst, es ist alles egal, alles egal. Wen interessiert schon was, wir haben doch alle Spaß oder was, egal, nur keine Qual, weil keinen Plan, ich fang wieder von vorne an, alles gut für mich und alles gut für dich.
Alles egal, alles ist alles egal, alles egal, alles ist alles egal, alles egal, alles ist alles egal, alles egal, alles ist alles egal.
Was du sagst, was du treibst, wenn du disst, das ist alles egal, alles egal. Was du magst, wo du bleibst, wenn vermisst, das ist alles egal, alles egal. Trink eine Tasse Tee, dann ist die Welt okay, ohne Rat und Tat, das ist doch eh nur Fahrt ohne mich und ich will lieber schwimmen gehen und muss sehen, es geht mir hier nicht ums Verstehen.
Alles egal, alles ist alles egal, alles egal, alles ist alles egal, alles egal, alles ist alles egal, alles egal, alles ist alles egal.
Alles egal, alles ist alles egal, alles egal, alles ist alles egal. Touchdowns, shit, ich kleb daran. Egal, morgen fangen wir dann richtig zu leben an. Stehen zu unserer Meinung und halten es durch. Schauen uns selbst in die Augen bei diesem kalten Entzug. Vom Warten genug, ja verflucht, wo bleibt die Haltung und die Realness? Ich hab gehört, dass sie noch irgendwo auf einem Bier sind. Die machen wohl durch, die Wurstigkeit hat sich mit ihnen auf ein Paar gekaut und Haselnuss Schnaps gekauft. So süß wie der freie Fall, wenn man sich treiben lässt mit
Jojo schaut uns an, als wären wir verrückt, weil er hört nichts von dem, was hier passiert, weil das alles... Er hört uns nur in irgendwie sowas reinsingen und schaut so.
Er sagt, es ist alles normal und ihm ist alles egal.
Genau. Und das ist auch ein Song von der kommenden Platte, oder?
Alles normal, ja. Also alles egal, ja. Genau, das ist eine Single, die ist auch schon draußen und ist auch ein Song vom Album.
Schön.
Great song, great inspiring drive, super song. I think it's a song that you can dance at home alone, but also with friends and also on the streets. It's a great, I mean, I can see the first street party with summer water, maybe there's a slight summer rain coming in. I see a truck, maybe a food truck, whatever, people dancing on a truck, like Fête de la Musique. And yeah, I see it's alles egal. Whatever there is, it will be something.
Yeah. Driving to Italy for holiday.
Yeah, driving to Italy for holidays.
But it's
in the middle of Madras, or I don't know, name me a great town of dancing in India.
Oh, we dance in every movie. We dance in movie theaters. We go to movie theaters. We would already be dancing at the movie theater. So we are all dancers in India.
Great. And Liz, is your fans festival is what is the situation?
Well, we would have had it this Pfingsten as a winter.
Yeah, exactly.
It was due to start, but of course the whole big. Now our home is in the big beautiful building in Kulturzentrum in Eisenstadt. It's this marvelous architecture which we're nomadic. We live in there nomadically. But it's all closed down, and we're hopefully doing our festival at the end of October, but already, as there are international guests, people are already talking about a resurge of the virus. So even that far, international artists, we had beautiful dance company from Israel coming, super cool guys. We had from France, kind of urban street, as a really fabulous urban dancers. Czech Republic, Lithuania we had last year, but very beautiful. Austrians, of course. We're all dancing at home. We're all squeezing our box at home.
The squeeze box. Alles egal, alles egal. That's the situation we're in. I think it's we're still as long as we're on this planet, we do what we do, and it's the beauty is that we can communicate and keep ourselves notified. I'm also curious how Stefano's visualizations of them all. I mean, how should we? There's one more clip from you. Shall we do it? Shall we have a finale song and then show the clip?
No, forget the clip. That's fine.
Forget the clip.
Let's have another set of music.
Let's have one more set of music, and then let's go in the grande finale. I mean, this is the grande finale. And anyway, we link also because I really like also his work, and it's good for visualizations in the most specific, how the little things in life look like, and we don't even know how the big things look like, and so in between we don't know anything, but I mean we know how it feels, and so yeah, thank you all, thank you Anu, thank you Liz, thank you Pippa, thank you Hans, thank you Chris, thank you Stefan. It was basically a big mashup. It was a squeeze box of inspirations, and it was the combination of different living rooms and thoughts. And I think this is it's great. And then we have also thank you Jojo and special appearance.
Thank you Dominic.
And you're welcome. It's yeah, I was inspired by all of your basically beings and being part of this. And yeah, it's and the one who's connecting all the living rooms, a big thank you to Mike for bringing us all together here. Mike and Teresa, you don't see them, but they're around. So it's like economy and technology, it's like art and science.
Because you can hear us, they must be there.
Exactly. If you don't hear us, they're not around.
And thanks, Dominic, for inviting us into your living room.
Thanks, Dominic.
You guys, I'm a big fan of all of you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have called you. And I'm very happy that you have that you had time, you know, and you made a thing. So the finale, it would be great. Also, if Jojo wants to perform with us, and everybody, it's a Monty Python song about the what is it called? When they're hanging up on a cross, it's like always look on the bright side of life.
But you know,
It's
because this is why I asked during the sound check. It's not possible to like that we all join in. Is it so?
no, exactly. I think it's that it's delayed and it's not perfect and there's a lot of latency, but it's late in the evening, so latency and lateness of the evening is completely fine. Even it's just a mashup. It's like we're all in a club and the music is so loud that we kind of don't even only hear half of it what we hear. But then sometimes it doesn't matter because we are just happy to be where we are.
As long as we enjoy it.
Yeah.
The other people outside there have to enjoy it.
Exactly. And given our situation in life, you know, like Liz says, things that we plan in October or your album release on the 28th of August, you know, things are far ahead. But we don't know where we are right now, and so it feels like being in a club and it's noisy and we have no clue what the other one is saying. But I mean, we are happy that we are where we are. So I think this is my state of.
No, we're happy that we are together still.
And they're happy we're all together, exactly. Because I mean, you might get lost in a big club.
And don't forget, you know, if you ever meet a Tamil-speaking person, just say "Nanu nain kadiliki rain."
I really need to know the backstory to that.
Yeah, exactly.
The next virus will trigger that.
But Nano rain, kadiliki rain. It seems like sun and it seems like rain. You can say of what you want, put the Klamschen out and wrong. It was just special, have you all around. And look at Jojo dancing on the piano. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. Look at Jojo dancing on the piano. Ba-dum, ba-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Life's a crazy thing. Biologists say no. You can wear a big scarf, you can wear a string. If you're looking on life's gristle, don't Jerry give a whistle. Remember that the last love is on you. And always look on the bright side of life. Shoo-be-doo-boop-be-doo-doo, yeah. Kadiliki rain. Thank you, Liz, for being part of this. We wish you all the best for all you do. I know it's kinda late, but latency is brave. We're part of this, and that's why the you. And always look on the bright side of Anu. Shubu, shibu, bidoo. And always look on the bright side of PIPPA doo-dee-doo, shoo-boo-bee-doo-bee-doo. Thank you, Stefan, for mumming all along. You're a scientist and this is fine. You're looking on life's gristle and the specialist is whistle. And when he whistles all the time. And always thank you, Anu, for bringing us to a subcontinental so gentle. with all there is to it, and I wish all the best. Thank you, Hans, for everything you do, composing halb or ganz. Schwing mit, don't forget, schwing mit.
I will.
You're in the middle of it. You can do it. Thank you, PIPPA. Thank you for the songs. I hope it's all going on. And in 3 months, we will follow whatever you do then, and wherever we'll see. It's the release. It's the release. And thank you, Chris, for bad guys and the question. It's good to have a biologist, 'cause they're speaking the language of the funkiness, of all the things we don't know to analysts, bananalists, cannabis, resist, whatever, it's a mist. Anyway, thank you all, thank you Anu, thank you Hans, thank you Mike, thank you Teresa, thank you Liz, thank you Stefan, thank you Chris, thank you PIPPA, thank you Jojo. Let's bring it down. It was a great evening with you, thank you all. Keep the flow from the squeeze.